Storm Show. Ay, it's Storm Show.
Storm Chasers, today I have a fan favorite here with us. I have celebrity astrologer, medium, clairvoyant. We've seen her on multiple television shows, including the Montel Williams show. She is a controversial YouTuber, mother, and triple Leo. Oh, and I forgot, an avid runner as well. Welcome.
Oh my God, right. Yes. Hi, an avid runner. I ran right in the door here to come to you. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. Listen, my people have been like begging me to get you on. And then when Diddy's house got raided, you went viral again. And it's been crazy ever since.
Every time it blows up my computer, it blows up my emails, it shuts my website down. I'm like, oh, yeah. The Diddy stuff was really interesting. I don't know if you want to just jump into that or not. Do you want me to take?
You know what? Actually, why not? Let's do it. Let's jump in. First off, you did your Kim Porter video, what, 4 years ago? 3 years ago?
No, it's like in June. I think it was last year, June.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I did Biggie Smalls 4 years ago.
Gotcha.
And he was talking about P. Diddy. And when I'm saying he, it's not like I'm talking to you. I get the images and impressions, and I have to put it together because it's not clear conversation like you and I are having. It's okay. Very you put I focus on their birthday, their name, and I kind of feel it, and it's very this image with this thought with this word. So I tend to write it down before I start filming, just so I don't lose anything, because I lose stuff. I'll go on a strand of thought and then I'm like, oh no, I just lost it. And with Kim Porter, she spoke. Truthfully, I was really unaware of who she was, as in I'm not a huge P. Diddy fan, no offense to him, but after the J-Lo thing, I was around for that. And I was like, oh,
me too. I mean, I was a kid, but I was around for it. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't a kid, but I was like, oh, screw that guy and his girl. And that we all kind of knew in our family that J-Lo covered for him and got her career because of it. That's how we felt. So I just didn't really pay attention to it after that. And it's not my style. I'm heavy metal. We all know this. So, I go down a different road with the music. But I will say, when Kim Porter, everybody asked me, I came home from hiking in Palm Springs, true story. I got home and I'm like, I'm going to eat some ice cream. I'm going to wash my feet. And then I threw a top on. I'm like, I'm going to do this video. I was tortured. I had a 2-hour drive home, and she just was in my head. So I thought, I will do it. And I think it's probably one of the most fascinating readings I've done, because I truly knew nothing about her. I think I even had to correct the video saying I got the place of her birth wrong. And you can never count on online astrology. So I start with the chart just for curiosity, and then I move into whatever I get.
I mean, why did they get on you about that? That's a minor detail.
Yeah. No, I know. I was like, whatever. Because I always tell them it depends on if the information is correct online, because I don't know the people, so I can't really ask. Okay. It depends where you get your source from. But anyway, it was fantastic because her style of communication, she's kind of direct, as in you can feel her energy in front of you. And she was so close to where we are. She was not done with him. Like she was not done. She did not go on and like rest in peace. She's not in pain, but she was so like strong. Okay. So strong and right there. Like as soon as I wrote her name down and her date of birth, she was like right there. And it was interesting because I was saying stuff, and sometimes I think I just say it and I'm like, oh, well, if the video goes off wrong, it's like, whatever. I'm saying.
It is what it is. Yeah.
It is. And it just hit. And so she very much is part of the movement on an energetic level about correcting what has been wrong. And I think she was doing it for her children, to tell you the truth. Like there was a really strong focus about her kids, and that I honestly feel that she didn't quite understand what she was involving herself in. Like that was the impression I got. I mean, I know we know who P. Diddy is. I get that. But I still felt
didn't know who fully what he was into at first. I'm sure.
That's what I'm thinking. And she was very concerned about her kids, especially now, interestingly enough, the one that wasn't P. Diddy's, her first child.
Quincy, yes.
Yes, there was a very strong focus on him. So I feel like he's probably been corrupted through the father. And I think she was very aware of that and not wanting to even, I don't even know what the word is for it, but not even wanting to deal with it. And she's very strong. So it's not done. We're not done with him. We're so not done with him.
I figured so too, because even the stories I've heard about her, about Kim Porter when she was alive, like, when Diddy would abuse her, she would also fight back. So she was always a fighter. So this,
yeah, she's fighting. She was right there. Not a lot of times. Another woman that reminds me of that was Anna Nicole Smith's energy was always right there, you know, until it wasn't, until she moved on. But the first year after she died, she was like right there. Like my kids could feel her. And in fact, my youngest son did feel her, but she was like there. I had clients that would feel her. So when she wanted to talk, she would stand there. And it's not like I'm talking to you, but you know, they're there. You know,
I'm spiritual, so I know what you mean, but let me kind of try to break it down for people who like totally don't get it, because if you go through TikTok, they're like, oh, Sloan works for the FBI. That's how she has all this information.
Oh my God. Okay. Mentally ill people say that, but that is so funny in our house. If you knew our family background, because each and every one of us borders on the line of just doing crazy shit. And the police know us, but not because we work for them, because my kids were all like gangster in high school and their mother was getting in fights and their father was getting in fights. Like, all of us were like, it's not that we don't follow things, but that would be the last thing. Like you can't just, it's so weird. People say they believe in psychics and then they're like, well, she got it right, so she must be FBI. It's like, what?
Yeah, people are just stupid. And they're like, oh, she's controlled opposition. She's of the Illuminati. This is not real. And I'm like, no. No, this is very real.
Yeah, the Illuminati. I have been speaking about this, which Illuminati, oh, your camera's doing what mine does. Illuminati, Freemasons, Luciferians, Beast System, Scientologists. Yes, I said it. All of them. Okay.
Them too, yes.
Yeah, them too in a different name. They all follow. I have always prayed, and I have been always to Jesus. I am Christian. Whether anybody believes it or not, I never went to church, but I have prayed every day of my life. And my husband would say to me, you're more like spiritual than I am. And he went to private boys Catholic school, you know, like till he graduated from kindergarten all the way through. And he's like, yeah, you have always taken it seriously. I do. I've always lead my life with God first. That's what I do. Okay. So that's why I don't beat the hell out of people that say shit to me, because I'm like,
and you can't help that you were born with the gift of clairvoyancy, so you can't help it. Like
I don't think you can. I don't think you can help it, and I personally don't call it a gift. I call it an ability, like being double jointed or tall or really mathematically inclined. If you want to word it that way, those are abilities that some of us have. You have your own abilities. I have my own abilities. It is genetic through the gene pool. It is. And I have always spoken out about this because of my background. Now, I didn't know exactly what Illuminati quote was as a kid, obviously, because that was not a word I heard. Okay. So I'm born in 66. I know, make the devil reference to my year of birth, but anyway, I can't help it. I came out in 1966. So
you look great, by the way. I would never know.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That's the running and the water and the coffee. I believe coffee saves lives. Anyway, there you go. I believe it does. But as a child, I was very aware of the dark energy. Like as a small child, I noticed. And I grew up wealthy. So my adopted family was wealthy. Okay. Oh, wow. So I did not grow up in a I went to private girls boarding school. I went away to summer camp. I had wardrobe shopping for winter and summer. You know,
but that must have been hell for you, because you don't strike me as someone that draws it within the lines. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, it was
especially being a Leo. You can't tell a Leo what to do. It just doesn't work.
No, it made me crazy. I had to take those classes where they teach you how to eat and manners.
Etiquette, yes.
Yeah, that just about killed me because I like to swear. So I was like, please, can I show up with a pretty gown? You know, and I had to wear, like, at my house, we had it was a very, very British upbringing, if you will. I would call it, like, people would understand that. I could eat dinner with the Queen. I would know exactly what to do. I don't want to. Yes, I had those kind of lessons, and my family sat down like that. And everybody I knew was like that, like doctors. My parents were educated and, you know, that kind of thing. And I don't have an education. I was kind of a feral cat, if you will. You know, my mom wanted me to do certain things, and my phone was ringing, sorry, and this, that, and the other. And I just don't operate that way. Do you know what I mean? I just found it. I like to feel things. So I like to put my hands in the dirt and feel the energy, which they didn't want me to feel those kind of things. But getting back to it, as a child, I learned very young that the men in where I grew up, the fathers, I realized that they like children, some of them. Like, it's a weird thing to say, but by the time I was 10, I knew if you take your clothes off over here, you'll get money from this one's father. And that, like, I'm dead serious. So I knew that there was an undercurrent. And weirdly, my mother, who was very proper, she went from England to South Africa to Canada. So she was, and much older parents. My mother was 40 when I was adopted. Okay. And then my brother born into the family, and my dad was older by a decade. So, my mom lived in 3 different countries by the time she was 17. Okay. So she went to 3 different kind of homes herself. She made me very aware before 2nd grade that there was a thing called snuff films. And I remember as a child saying, why are you telling me that? And she said, I will never obviously send anyone to pick you up unless I tell you who it is, you know, like at school or whatever. And they take kids for snuff films. And so I kind of knew this growing up. So this was a thing, like, we knew it. But yet couldn't prove it, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was aware very young at the undercurrent of what was going on around. And when I went out with my husband on our first date, okay, very first date, I said, ex-husband, but now, but on our first date, I said, the world is run by Satanists and pedophiles. Now, I was 21. I was only 21. So I have been saying this all the way along. I have come across it because I'm psychic in Los Angeles. That's where it confuses people. We meet everybody here. Every psychic that you run into in Los Angeles has read celebrities. It just depends on when they're available and which echelon of entertainment that they're in.
No, my other friend who's a psychic lives in LA, and
and they know celebrities. It does not
mean, my God, yes.
Yes, it does not mean that. Are you talking about Bruce?
No. I'm talking about Linda Salvin. But yeah, she's not.
Okay, yeah, I know where she is. Yeah, no, I have another friend that's from Georgia that lives in the Valley, who's an astrologer friend. And he too is, I mean, we see each other at a gym way out in the boonies, and he gets celebrity. Like, I mean, it's not a popular gym is what I'm saying. It's just a neighborhood gym where no one goes. And he gets celebrities. So all of us in this area get celebrities, period. So it's not an FBI thing.
But people don't understand that, like, living in LA, you don't fan out because, oh, it's Jennifer Aniston, because you can see her, like, going to get yoga or coffee or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
no one cares.
But if I live in Indiana, that's a big deal to me. Do you see what I'm saying? So
yeah, totally. No, absolutely. And if you're a psychic, a medium, an astrologer, a tarot reader, whatever it is, a hairdresser even, or a massage therapist, whatever, and a celebrity takes a liking to you, they're going to send their whole group of friends to you. And that's how it works. That's makeup artists notorious for that. You know, you do this, you do that. I never know which way I'm supposed to be looking at you. I'm like,
oh no, you're fine. Just straight at the camera. It's going to feel weird, but you're good. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. I'm like, am I lopsided? But we meet them, and there are a lot of bullshit psychics. A lot. There's people that are full of shit. They lie. They give us a bad name, and the media likes to hype them up to make you sound crazy. So if you are adequately dressed and take care of yourself and articulate, it's really hard for people to believe you're psychic because they're so used to, like, you know, they used to have us with balls on their head. What, you know what I'm saying? Those
come into my lair. Yeah, yes,
that
yes.
crap. What is that? I've never done
You
that.
look approachable. You look like someone like, well, like I grew up around people that look like PTA moms. Like you give that. So it's just like, she's a psychic, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not going to wear those hat things or whatever.
Yeah, but you're not unattractive. So
yeah, and they want to make you kind of crazy when you have the ability. But it's fascinating because I think the controlled opposition on TikTok is that my husband, ex-husband, I always call him still my husband. It's just habit, I guess. But he said those are probably Diddy's people putting shit online to discredit you, you know, to make it. Yeah, or his fans or people that like him or, you know, whatever. But it's interesting because like your friend that's psychic, I have 44 decades of work. And I read people in my house in Los Angeles. We're talking 40. It's like 39.
Guys, people literally used to come to her house. I think they came to what, your living room?
Well, it was my kitchen. It was my kitchen table. Yeah.
And it was nothing for her kids to come downstairs and it's a celebrity being rated. Like,
yeah, that's it. Normal. The best story I have is my son Keith, when somebody left me a voicemail and he listened to my message and he heard that it was Bruce Willis. And so he's running him around the house. Dad, Mom's going to Bruce Willis's house for the night. And I'm like, stop saying it. Like, he was like little, like 7 or 8. And I'm like, stop saying it like that. It's not that way. But it's, you know, you meet the girlfriend that becomes the wife through the friend, through the designer, through the this, through the that. And it's not because you're better or worse. It's because they're interested in what you have to say. So they want to see if you're going to say anything of any, you know, relevance to that. You know, all the way through, there are many people we meet, politicians as well. I've met politicians on both sides that come to me and other psychics for readings. So we know what goes on, and all your presidents, most of them have had psychics or astrologers guiding them.
They go to psychics, astrologers, witches, voodoo people. Like I met
everybody.
Kodak Black's voodoo person. I met her in Miami, and it was just like, but people don't know like that. The world is run on that. Shit happens on certain days for reasons. Like, it gets deep. It gets deep.
And that's it. And so when they say FBI, they're kind of saying we're not going to give you your credit or whatever they said.
Yes.
And by the way, I think it was Homeland Security that got Diddy, not FBI. But I'm just
they don't know the difference.
I would say those are two different people.
Yes.
And I'm still Canadian, so no one's hiring me here for a government job, okay? Like, I'm like, stop.
It's just not going to happen. But I just think that people need to just understand it's a real thing. And I do want to ask you this before we move on from Kim Porter. So people can understand when you die, what happens? Because people don't understand that process.
You're asking me, am I dead? Wait, am I dead?
From what you've seen.
Yeah. Okay. My understanding of it. Okay. And this is from different people. Understand we all live differently and therefore we die differently.
Okay.
But when we pass, from what I can tell, we go to a level of frequency, like a musical note is the best way I can describe it, where we feel comfortable. Now, I do know for sure that overdoses, because I literally had a family member that overdosed, my stepson, and this was years ago. This was in 96, just after my youngest son passed. But when he passed, I picked up on his frequency. He showed me everything that happened to him very clearly. He was a teacher to me on his journey across, okay? Because I had such, and he was not my biological child, but what I'm saying is I connected so much. And because of the overdose, when he got clear, and understand, they're not regulated by time like us. But when he got clear, he kind of went to what was described to me as an energetic frequency hospital, like a hospital on the other side. It's not like Cedars-Sinai, not like that, but it was to calm the soul down from what they'd experienced. Because understand, when you overdose, you step out of your body. A lot of times they don't know what they did because they're not in their right mind. And
Gotcha.
I felt him trying to come in through the crown chakra. He showed me that he couldn't get back into his body. And then his body was gone, and it was a huge shock because he was not intending that to happen, obviously.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was a shock for him. And I felt all of that. It actually made me really sick after I went through it because it was both emotional and physically kind of devastating to go through. Since, you know, that was somebody I loved, meaning my stepson, and it was devastating. But after a few months, he disappeared. I wasn't able to pick up on him. So I thought it was me. And then what I was being shown is, so frequency, like when you look in the desert and you see tones across the freeway from the heat, kind of showed me that, and raising it all up together to almost a neutral point, not a point of devastation, not a point of over happiness or under happiness, but neutrality. So then the soul could work back into its experience from this life and move in a different way. Okay. That's what I saw with him personally. Now, when my adopted father passed, who's my dad, because no one else raised me, so my dad passed, his passing was more painful while he was here in the hospital. And I wasn't talking to him then, but he had more rage about being stuck here and not being able to get out of his body, or not understanding what would happen when he got out of his body. And once he crossed, he was free, like kind of free. You know, it was like a freeing thing. And and we all know my son Keithy passed, I think, maybe people don't, but when Keithy passed in 2024, and I was 40 minutes after he passed, and I went by, obviously, his body after they put it on the stretcher. I could not feel him, which made me insane, right? Like, I couldn't feel him, and he's my child, like, that's my son. I sniffed for him. I tried to catch him. And then probably 3 days, 2-3 days after that, his brother, my other son, crossed him out of his physical. So Jason said, you know, I had this vision, or I saw this, I was awake, but I was asleep. However he worded it, I can't quite remember. And he said, Keith walked in the house. Now, I didn't see it, but this is what he saw. Okay. Helmet on, because it was a motorcycle accident. And in the vision, so this is on the astral level, understand. Jason's going about his business. Keith's father's going about his business. I'm going about my business. But Jason picked it up in another dimension, so just outside of here. Okay. And so Keith's father said to Jason, according to Jason, you know, don't tell him he's dead. He'll stay longer. And so they sat on the couch, and Keith came down and talked to them after he put his helmet down, like he would like he did apparently go upstairs, take his shoes off, whatever. And he came back down, and then finally Jason told him, bro, you died. It was like a couple of days before. And Jason described Keith's energy coming right up to him and like chest bumping him like they used to when they were in the house. Like, you know, I have bigger arms. I'm bigger. I weigh more, you know, these boys, whatever. The opposite of what women do. Like, I'm skinny. The guys are like, I'm big. But he said, and then he felt Keith's energy push right out of that dimension and just go. Okay. And then after that, just after Jason told me that, I felt Keith's energy really speed up. But see, I don't know if we're seeing it when it's happening, or it's already happened and then I'm catching wind of it. You see? Yeah. But he had to really speed up to get out of this energy on Earth, because the energy tried to pull him back down. That much I did see. I saw him speed up, and I use the analogy of Star Trek because that's what it felt like, light years and they take off. I saw his energy collect and go through something and break through it. So I knew he got to the next dimension that he needed to be in. Gotcha. But I still don't call that heaven. We don't just go to heaven. That's a whole theological thing you could debate, you know, that because we are all going at the same time, but we do go to where we are comfortable, where the musical note fits our frequency.
Gotcha. I'm imagining like a radio, and you tune it to different
where you go. Yeah. That's what I felt. And after I saw that, I did feel my son, you know, quite a bit. He made appearances on my live streams for real. Like, you know, like he made faces in the background, not this house, the other house I was in, the other studio I rented, but it's different for everybody. My birth mother, I never felt, but other people can pick her up. When she passed, I never felt her. I mean, I knew she was going to pass, and I said it, but after that, I didn't feel her.
Now, can you speak on, if you don't mind, only because you've said it on your show as well, can you speak on the premonition that you got that your son or one of your sons was gonna pass?
Yeah, I actually got it on both my stepson and Keith, but I'll talk about Keith because it was so weird. So for me, how it happens is I get a thing called psychic Tourette's. I call it that because I can't stop babbling. Okay. So people are like, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, no, I feel like this is going to happen. And I'll keep saying the prediction over and over, like a mental person, like 60 times in a row, because I can't get it out of my head. And if I don't say it, it bugs me. So I have to say it. But it's a psychic way of speaking, I think. But what happened is, it's a long story, but with Keith, what happened, I had no feelings of anything. Okay. So none whatsoever until probably June. Now, keep in mind, 6 months before I got this, I had moved out of I had separated from my husband. So my husband and the kids and the grandkids were all living in the house, right? So they're living in the house. I moved out. So I didn't have access or keys to get in and check who was doing what. So I had no idea Keith had bought a motorcycle. And that was at the end of May of 2020. I had no idea. Okay. Because I wasn't in the garage and no one mentioned it.
Oh, this was in a pandemic. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And they didn't tell me that he bought it. My other son had a motorcycle, but I never thought, Keithy, he was 6'4". Like, I'm like, why would you need a motorcycle? You're too tall. That's what I always thought, However, having said that, at my little granddaughter's birthday party, so that would be in June, I was sitting with the adults at a table. Kids are playing, her little cousins, and I'm with the other grandmas and other adults. And I just blurted out, I'm going to bury one of my sons by September, like that. Okay. It came out of my mouth. And of course they're looking at me. I said, well, this is what I feel. So I felt that. And then I went to my psychic friend and I said, which one, and pardon my language, but which one of these bitches am I looking at for this? Because my kids drove me nuts, right? Yeah. Anything boys can do, these two did. Okay. If it wasn't this one, and just go up and down the list of shit I was, whatever. But they were the most fun. They were fun. Looking back on it, they were fun. They were pulling all kinds of stunts. It's like,
and they kept you on your toes, and you can handle it. You can,
I see it from anyone. I'm like, your kid's doing that. I know what's up. But I asked one of my psychic friends, and she's like, I can't get a death, but I can see chaos around you. Like, she goes, I can see this. I can see this. And I knew it was by September. So I got on a group text. I have a friend, Carol, Estelle, and Arlene. They know they're on the text. Anyway, I said this, repeated the same thing. So one of my sons is going to pass by September. And I said, I think it had to be Jason because of the motorbike. This is what I was thinking, right? Because I didn't know Keith had one at that time. So about a week later, I'm still on this group text. We're doing all kinds of stupid shit talking on this text, like girls do, right? A week later, I went over to my old house and I was bringing chicken because my kids meal prep because they go to the gym and they do all of that stuff. And the garage door was open and I saw a blue motorcycle. Now my other son's is brown or black or whatever. I saw blue. I said, whose is that? And my older son laughs and he says, just tell my mom it's my second one, like that, really sarcastic. And I was like, and so I asked her father, why didn't you tell me? And he's like, oh, well, you just found out. And I'm like, yeah, that's nice. Anyway, so at that point, I went back on the group text and I said to my friend Carol, who usually keeps her Porsches in her garage, I said, I've got to kidnap these bikes. And she said, you can bring them here because the cars are out of here. So you can bring them. Let's get a tow truck and do it. Like, we actually had this conversation.
Okay.
And because you have a conversation, I see a lot of people online and they're like, if you have a conversation, you made it happen. Why didn't you stop it from happening? And I'm like, I did everything humanly possible. Now, I did talk to Keith's father and I said, let's kidnap the bikes. That's the wording I used. I said, I'll hire the tow truck. I'll pay for all that shit. I said, leave the garage open or tell them to park on the street, which they're not going to do, right? Because, they'll get robbed.
Take them on a trip and when they come back, they can be gone.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, they'll just get more money for it. I'm like, okay.
That's a good point too.
Yeah, he said they'll just file an insurance claim.
And they'll buy another one.
Yes, that's what he said. So I didn't go after it farther. But my gut was horrific, okay? Like, I had constant anxiety. Like, I was like, one of my kids is going to die, like all day long in my head. It made me nuts. So about the week, probably maybe 4 days before Keith died, I went in the house. I was sitting in the living room. I was sitting there with the dog, and the kids came in from the garage, and they were doing that thing. Who's bigger, who weighs more, who can lift more weights? These two did every time. And I said, listen, you two bitches, how I talked to them. I said, I want you to hear me. One of you is going to go by September. I need you to watch your driving, whether it be a car or a bike. I don't know who it is. The astrology's off. I threw all of that in there. And like my children did every single time, they laughed. And I just have the vision of them laughing and running up the stairs. You know, they were 24 and 27 at the time. Jason was about to turn 27. So they were, you know, goofing around, ran up to their rooms and did whatever they were doing. And it was about 3 or 4 days later that Jason called me, and it was weird because I was about to lie down at 1:30 in the afternoon, because after clients, you know how this can go.
Oh, absolutely.
I was like, oh, I'm so tired. And I saw him calling me. He never calls, he texts. You know how the kids are. And so I answered, and all he told me is Keith hit the ground. I had no idea what that meant. I thought he fell down the stairs, because I didn't even know that that means when you bottom out on a bike, right?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea. And I said, where? And he said, Chatsworth. And I said, where's the hospital? Me still in, denial. And he said, DeSoto. I got just straight in the car. I can't even remember what I was wearing, but I was like going to take a nap. So whatever, I ran in that car, and I knew he was dead. My body went numb, and I knew, and I was on like 4 phone calls trying to phone the police, 2 different phones, screaming. And then one of Keith's friends called me and sent me the pin to where it was. And I said to him, I actually think I accused him of killing. It's not funny. Poor David. Anyway, David, because the friend of Keith that was with him didn't have our number. So they had David, he called David to call me and to call Jason. So called Jason. Anyway, so I said, because he rides bikes and he's more reckless. And I'm like, did you do something? And he didn't. He just hung the phone up and sent me the pin, because I was screaming at him. I was just like, you need to tell me. You're
frantic, understandably. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, you tell me if he's dead. And he wouldn't answer me. He said, he couldn't tell me. Like, he's like, I couldn't say that to you. So he just hung the phone up on me. So then I phoned back, left messages like, I'm coming to your house. I will beat your fucking ass. Like, I just lost my mind. And when I pulled up, I saw it, and I went completely straight numb out of my body. I cried for 5 minutes, stopped crying, and didn't really cry after that since. I went completely numb, and that was that. And I had that premonition. And what's even weirder, to backtrack now that you heard that, when I got pregnant with Keith, on the day I got pregnant, of course you don't know you're pregnant, but I felt I was pregnant. And
which is crazy to me. That's wild to me. But
yeah, no, I told my husband, you just knocked me up. And it was St. Patrick's Day, and I was dropping him back at the bar. Not the point. I dragged him home from the bar in the afternoon to drop him back off at the bar. And I said, you just knocked me up. And he's like, I'm not even off the floor yet. And I'm like, yep, that's what happened. I heard ping, you're pregnant. And then I heard one's coming and one's going. So I thought, that's a weird, I heard it like outside of me voice. So I had Jason, and I thought, okay, let me find out when this baby would be born if I am pregnant. So I tracked it back roughly, and it was going to be a Sagittarius. That was my stepson. So then I knew what that message meant. One's coming and one's going, same birth sign. So I predicted with my stepson as well, but it was for Halloween, and he died October 9th. Okay. So, and it was after Keith was born, and it was 24 years later on a YouTube video that my stepson showed up on a live stream, and I said, oh, Jimmy's here. I said, I wonder who he's coming to get. And then his brother.
And now you know.
Now I know.
That makes sense. Before you hold that thought, speaking of that, that reminds me of Whitney Houston's mother that said when she gave birth, the spirit told her she's not going to be with you for long. So
yes, it happens. No, you hear it. It happens. It's not FBI, okay? It's
not you trying to like speak it into existence. You can't help that you hear it.
Like, I heard it. No, and literally my family knows that about me, because I had the conversation with my stepson and asked him how he wanted me to bury him, and I made sure that those wishes were carried out. Like, I mean, I had lunch with him and I said, you're going to die. How do you want me to bury you, you smart ass? And
Wow.
I mean, yeah. And the day he died, I called him and said, listen, I cussed him out because that's how I talked to them. And I said, we have to get this. And he's like, oh, Sloan, that laugh of his, that Sagittarius laugh. And I went into a blind rage, hung the phone up, and the next call was that he died. Like it makes me angry because you can see it, which just shows you we have free will to still behave. And even if you know and tell somebody, is that going to stop them from whatever action that they're taking? That's what I'm saying.
No, it's not.
So
Biggie's mom told him, do not go to LA, and he still went to LA. Like
he's going to do same thing. She's a mom.
Yeah.
She knows, and I've always felt this. And I'll tell you another wild story, which is an insane story. 7 years before Keith passed. So he died in 2020. In 2012, and it was, I think it was October 12th, actually. I remember it. We went to bed early. By early, I mean before 11 o'clock, but around 10:30.
Okay.
And there's always like cars going up and down the street. And I could hear the bikes going up and down the street. Not my kids' bikes, people driving up and down. And so I was in there. My husband was in bed. And I was just about to go to sleep. And I heard, he's going to die. So I said to John, he's going to die. And John's like, I was just about asleep. And I'm like, come on, get up. Let's go in the car. Because I heard bikes and cars going up and down the street. We went out my garage. We went around the complex, out onto the main street, and parked by my backyard, which overlooks Keith's window. Like Keith's window overlooks that part of the street.
Okay. And
we sat in that car as a motorcycle went up and down the street, and an SUV came and fishtailed. Bike ran right into it. Guy died right in front of me. I saw him step right out
of his body.
Oh, yeah. The paramedics, it took them 3 minutes to get there because the fire station's down the street, and they were doing this. And I kept saying he stepped out. I saw him. Wildest thing. This is true. My husband was with me. Like I was in underwear, boxer shorts, and a tank top and sunglasses on my head like usual, because I feel like that completes any outfit. Not the point. But this kid, as he was leaving his body, and that was for me. So he looked perfect. Nothing was broken on his face, but I guess it was internal, I guess. Paramedics took the helmet off, and he looked like nothing was wrong with him, like a sleeping beauty, if you will. Like nothing, it wasn't gory. Okay. So as he kind of left, he left out through the crown chakra. It was kind of like mauve and silver tinted going up for like wine and silver, but kind of muted, but getting brighter if that. Okay. And I saw it going like this, and immediately I heard something about his child. I didn't see a child, but I went over to the bystanders who apparently knew him because they also were on bikes. I said, where's his son? I want to know where his son is. And one guy said, how did you know he had a son? I said, because he said, like, that's
people don't get it though. They think you're crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. And he said he had just won custody of his son that week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was his last thought on the way out. And it's so weird because Keith and I looked out of Keith's bedroom window as the coroner came, okay, and as the tent went out, and I watched the mother pull up just like I did, and I watched her collapse, sob, try to get to her child and be unable to do it. And I lived it 7 years, practically to that time frame. So I witnessed it, and so did Keith. We both stood there at his window watching, and my heart was broken for this woman. So I watched her. They went and let her near the same things. And I remember one day I'm going to tell her that her son thought of his son. And it's funny because one of Keith's friends knows who that kid is. So I told the story to her and said, tell him if you come across him. She said, oh yeah, that kid grew up and he's whoever. I don't know. I can't remember his name, the young man who would have been a little kid at the time. But it was interesting. So those things happen to me. That's in our family. I'll get in the car because I get a feeling and I'll go wherever. And that's just how it works for me.
And so you're not making this shit up. It's just you. It's just that
I'm not making it up. I wish I could make it up. I would have made up a different story with my son and my son.
And by the way, I think it's incredibly disrespectful for people to use your son's death against you. I don't know. People are weird.
No, they're weird, but I can tell you that shit comes back on you. Like it's even if you think I am doing anything or anybody is doing anything, you don't, and I use the example of OJ Simpson because I did not like him. That's me personally. And I used to see him around town all the time, and probably so did your friend. Okay. Like everybody saw him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in Los Angeles, well, he had a child that died with his first wife.
With Marguerite, right?
Yes. Yes. I think the little girl drowned in the pool.
Yeah, at like 2 years old, I think.
Yes. I never once said, oh, he did. No, I never said that. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't like that man. But what I'm saying is the child is like,
is innocent. Yes.
Yeah, just shut up. Like,
if you don't like me, that's fine, but don't attack my kid.
Yeah, I think what it is, honestly, is when you trend, they can't stand the attention, so they get butthurt and they get their knickers in a twist, and then they want your attention, so they use your name to steal the attention to themselves, but they can't keep that up. You know, they can't keep that up. Whatever that is, it goes away. Like, okay, you've said that, now what? And you see, like, what's going to happen? What are you going to say?
Yeah, like what now? Okay, fair enough. I did want to address that and have you tell that story. Now, I think another story that's funny about you is that when you actually saw your husband at the bar,
yes,
you went up to him. You told this on the Montel Williams show back in the day. I did just make this up.
Yeah.
But you went up to him and you said, you're going to knock me up and we're going to get married. And it was can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it was so funny because I was married at the time. So, you know.
To somebody else.
Yes, to somebody else. Because I'm that kind of girl. No, I didn't. I was married to somebody I knew in Canada, and they were here in LA. So somebody that I had been a teenager with. I shouldn't have married them. It was a 4-month marriage. Let me just say, I bailed pretty quick.
Yeah,
it was like an accident because I heard a voice walking down the aisle saying, don't do it. And I ignored it. I literally heard it and I ignored it. So of course your guides are just looking at you like, okay, dumbass.
Now you're going to have to learn this lesson the hard way. Yep.
Yeah. So I did. And, but anyway, I was on my way to Florida because and it was a strip club I met my husband in. I don't know if I said that on Montel, but it was a strip club. And I worked as a dancer at the time. And I also worked out of Miami and I worked out of Fort Lauderdale. So I commuted between LA and Florida a lot, like every second week. Okay. So as an entertainer, I was between 3 clubs.
Yeah.
And I was on my way to this club in the Valley to give the bartender money I owed her. So I was with a gay friend of mine. And I say that because we're going to the airport and traveling. But I was with him and I said, you see that guy at the bar? I'm going to marry him. That's the first thing I said to him. I didn't even see his face, really. It's hard to explain. What I saw on his back was one dark-haired boy and one strawberry blonde boy. And I knew that my kids were coming from him. So that is what I said to him. And he asked me if I was high or did I want to drink. And I said, well, I'm not high, but I'll have a Pepsi. Because at the time, Diet Pepsi, let's be serious, with lime in it. Anyway, at that time, that's what I drank. And I said, I'll meet you back here in 6 months. I'm going to Florida. I'm going to get a divorce and I'll meet you back here.
Okay.
Something like that. I have to take care of personal business and I'll see you back here. I don't know if I said divorce. I can't really recall that. So 6 months later, I come back to that club. I'm working in it and I'm looking for him and he's not there. Me, I'm literal. If I see something, I'm like, where is this fucker? His friend was there. So I went up to his friend, Bob, who since passed. And I said, where's your dumb friend? And he went and called him. And this would be our 30s. We've only been divorced a year, but 37 years. That was 37 years ago. And we had one dark haired boy and one light hair, strawberry blonde. Keith was he was a towhead, but turned into a strawberry.
That is so interesting. And the crazy thing is I always love to mess with people. So you were married longer than I've been alive. I just think that's
I know, right?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And that's what's even funnier. When people attack your character, first of all, the people attacking me haven't been married 36 when I got divorced.
Very true.
They haven't remained friends with their ex. They don't co-grandparent, which we co-grandparent, or however you want to word that.
Which, by the way, people, if you want to see in your kid's life, you're going to have to be amicable with the other parent.
Correct.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I learned that after I moved out. I was like, okay, eat shit. You're going back into the house and you're going to do that. And it doesn't matter what they say. You want to see your sons. If you want to see your sons, and thank God I made that choice since Keithy passed. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But nobody who does that really kind of like if our behavior denotes our integrity, then they should be able to tell from that alone one man for 37 years of your life, they should be able to tell, you know, in sickness, in health, when his son died with his family, they should be able to tell. That's what I'm saying. And they just overlook that just to attack you, which makes them really nasty people.
I agree.
They're very nasty. And the other interesting thing was it, I have to say this, I'm 58, okay, going to be 58 soon. Would I not have sold everybody out for fame when I was really cute, didn't have cellulite, and before
you could have did that in the 90s. You could have did that in the 90s.
Thank you. And the late 80s. Thank you.
yeah. You could have did that then, or you could have did it the John Legend, Chrissy Teigen way, and you know, we won't get too far.
I could have done all of that, but it at age 53, I left my marriage, broke my heart, and all I wanted to do, my husband had always told me, Keithy's going to be you'll see, he'll come around, he's going to be your best friend. And so I always held on to those words. So when he passed, I was just, you know, devastated. I mean, nobody, and you see people go, oh, I would never get rid of well, nobody got rid of their kid, but all the people saying it, did you divorce your husband and step away, bitches? Did you do that and then make up some whiny excuse for your ego? Because I never did. I never left my kids. So whether their father and I got along, or neither did he, by the way, when I aggravated him. And that happened too. I'm interested too.
And I think I want to kind of get into astrology, and then we can end off on a little bit of how you actually got to the States. I know how, but speaking of astrology, you being a triple Leo, I have always said, I don't think Leos are meant to be tied to one person. Like, I think Leos are kind of either meant to be a free spirit or to have like a harem.
Right. Maybe that's a Leo man.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Maybe, because remember, women and men in astrology are different.
Really?
Oh, God, yeah. Look in the jungle. Go to the jungle in your head. Okay. And look at a Leo cat, man. Okay. The man cat waits for the women. They do all the work. The women travel together while the man has many wives. The women serve. So Leo men have the harem, and the Leo women are workhorses. They care for the kids. They keep the pride together. They bring food to the man. They give themselves to the man. They don't require solidarity from the man, and they raise all the kids. And then they kick the men out. Remember, Leo men want to hurt their kids. They kick them in, you know, whatever, jungle life over there, right?
Yeah.
So they do that. When you look at an Aries, look at the other fire sign, Aries. When you look at an Aries,
my parents are Aries, so yeah.
Okay, there, yeah, right. Annoying as hell. What are you?
Oh, you don't like me. I'm a Taurus.
Oh, that's okay. I like you. It's fine. My husband has Taurus moon. What's your rising?
Wait. Okay. So it's Taurus. Then the moon is Cancer.
I see the Cancer. Okay.
And then the other is Virgo, I think.
Now that's interesting. Okay, yeah. So your parents drove you crazy, critiquing the shit out of you.
Yeah, and they say I drive them crazy. Like I don't understand.
That's because they can't control your expression. That's what that is.
Like, imagine growing up in a house with highly emotional people, but you're very logical. It doesn't.
Yeah, I know. I had the same problem. I mean, in my marriage, they're logical, and I'm like a firecracker. I'm like, and they were like, oh God. I scared my kids' friends because I would be like, wah! But when you look at any sign, male or female, they're like, all the fire signs are masculine by nature. So whether you're a woman or a man, you are more strong. Okay. Virgo is feminine. Cancer is feminine. So and Taurus is feminine. So they have the sensitivity of women, whether you're male or female.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's like that. With Aries, what I was going to say, Aries women, because it's a masculine sign, they, like a Leo woman, like a Sagittarius woman, will take care of everything because they have the masculine on top of their feminine. Okay. So when a man has Cancer in his chart, like, you know, my oldest son is a Cancer, and when I watch him with his daughters, I crack up because I'm like, who is that little softy over there? Because he's got the sensitivity that you would equate with a female, because it's a feminine driven sign, you see? So you have to combine all of that when you're reading a chart with that. Okay. And yeah, you know, in that sense. And weirdly for me, when I got married, Leo is loyal. So above all, my loyalty speaks to the point of stupidity. So Leo is a loyal sign.
Am I not? Because I'm flighty. So is that?
Yeah. Well, no, that can be personal behavior on like how you grew up.
Okay.
Like, you know, you have to look at the other elements of the chart. There's like 12 houses full of all of the stuff. And so you may not know what's activating, you know, what's activating or whatever. And sometimes you work out the karma with somebody too. Like, you know, I never wanted to divorce my husband. So I just made a choice due to circumstances, you know, without getting into boring detail that I've gotten into. I'm trying to regress from bringing that up every time.
No, you're wrong.
But Leo can be very loyal and they will stick with who they know, period. So, yeah. And I think my generation too, because I was married longer than you've been alive, as you point out. Bloody hell. All right. So that's a British term.
Hey, I'll be 31 in 2 weeks. So, hey.
Oh my God, you're my son's age. Well, he'll be 32.
You'll be 32. Yeah. So, you know, we're around the same age. In 90s,
yeah,
baby.
Yeah, my kids. I bitch slap you too. Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
Find out what you do and I will come after you.
Hey, some people might say I deserve it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Yeah. And men in astrology are different. Like, Cancer sign itself, male or female, is a very difficult sign because people, just to give you an example, I hear this all the time. Cancer is a sign of family and this. Cancer is the most adopted, orphaned, or abandoned sign in the zodiac. So even if they come from an intact family at the time of their birth and through their life, they are left alone, and it could be for any reason. Like somebody,
that was my life.
Yes, you have a Cancer moon, you said. So
yeah, that was literally I've always just been by myself, no matter what. Yeah.
Even if you have a family around you, it could mean you don't connect with them. It could mean if you had a family of doctors, they're not going to be there because they're in the hospital. So technically, the kid's going to be by themselves. You know, if you're adopted, if you're in a war-torn country, whatever, like Christopher Reeve's son, I believe, was a Cancer, and he lost both of his parents simultaneously. So Cancer comes in with this, they are extremely clingy because they've been abandoned in their own mind. I don't, from what? It could be the parents don't see it that way too. Understand it's perceptual, all of us. But your sign leads you to the perception. And when you read the whole chart, you get a feeling. And I consider it like a symphony, a chart. So when I see the planets, I'm like, oh, I feel it. So I go in and out of the feeling. I love astrology. And so the feeling of the chart is interesting. But just to give you an idea, my triple Leo, sun, moon, and rising is all in the 12th house of Pisces. So I'm really not, hard to believe, not as bombastic as I could be if it was in the first house.
Okay.
So I'm slightly muted. And that may be why I'm not a wild Leo too. You know, I was always kind of a one-woman person.
Gotcha.
I'm intellectual, so I don't want to be playing games with a whole bunch of people. And I
don't have time for that either. That's a lot to keep up with. Yeah,
it is too much. Like, no thanks. And now, of course, at this point in my life, as you know, never dating, never getting married.
You never know. You may meet a guy out when you're running somewhere in the hills, and you just never know.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw him away. I'm gonna be like, bye, stop.
And for the people that's asking, she's straight. She, you know, people.
That one was the other night. Are you bisexual? I'm like, if I were, to quote,
why would I tell you?
Episode, who cares?
Exactly.
And secondly, where do you come up with that? Like, do you ask people in your real life, hey, are you bisexual? Because I doubt they do. They're walking down the street. Hey, what are you?
So humor me. A Taurus, what am I compatible with? Just humor me.
Okay, it is hard to know that because the Taurus sun, is only one element. But since you have a Virgo rising, those are two earth elements. I would say probably a Capricorn. The Cancer moon, you have to feel them in a particular way. So they have to be able to make you, now this is going to sound really weird. With your Cancer moon, they have to either make you their parent or you feel parented by them, taken care of. Do you see what I'm saying? On an emotional level. So for you to connect with somebody, they either have to take care of you, like check your needs, or you need to be in the position of checking their needs. So because the Cancer is parental in its affection, the Virgo, now Virgo rising has a difficult time, and I'll tell you why, because they usually incarnate from a higher echelon in the last lifetime, like higher up in society, whatever that means, trust fund baby, royalty, elite, I don't know, whatever, something that isn't the average person. So in this lifetime, when they're Virgo rising, they're coming down to live the average life. Not that, I don't mean it like that, but the day-to-day life, and people piss them off because in the last life, they didn't deal with that. So they will, Virgo, the Virgo rising, you with your Taurus Virgo rising, you will look at people and be like, you know, they have like green socks on. So it's a no for me. You know, I don't like the cup they're drinking out of. Get out of my house. Like, it's very hard. It's like you will look at them and for the stupidest shit say, that's it. Now, Taurus, if they like something, they like something. So they have to build stability with you. Taurus is about stability, and Taurus rules the earth. They say it rules Venus. I say it rules this dimension.
Okay.
Everything a Taurus likes is security of a home, security of a car, security of a job, security of, I can go to the dentist when I want to. You know, they're not like flighty other sign that doesn't give a shit if their teeth fall out of their head and they live in their box on the side. No, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Taurus looks at all the earthbound things and says, I would like to have this and I would like to have that. So for a Taurus, a Capricorn, I think would be good given your chart, because it would give you somebody who works towards the same kind of things, but does it through work, whereas you looking for stability. So that seems like a good match.
Yeah, because I love a worker. I'm not going to lie to you. I love
Capricorn just comes to mind with your Virgo and that. The Cancer moon, that's going to be different. So emotionally, you're a hard nut to crack. Taurus is pretty easy. Give them a blanket, some chocolate, some good music, what they like, weed, whatever it is, and you've got them. Taurus, like, whatever, they're there. So,
what about, I know it's a little hard without seeing my chart. What about another Cancer?
Another Cancer can be good because your moon would sit on their sun. So yes, when you're looking at synastry, you're going to look at the main parts of the chart, the sun, moon, or the rising. And if the other person's is placed in your 7th house, or like a Cancer person with you, Cancer moon, that's your emotional nature on their energy. So it means you get them and they get you emotionally. Do you see?
That is interesting.
So that's synastry. That's like, where does this fit in your chart versus their chart? Right. So, and truthfully, honestly, if it's karmic, I don't think the charts matter.
Okay.
Because there's so many things in the charts in my marriage that don't work. And it was 30, you know, it's this year 30.
Yeah, because you said it's 12 houses all together.
12 houses with the 12 planets, 2 luminaries, sun and moon, and then 10 planets, plus all the asteroids, and then transiting planets.
Oh my God. Okay.
So shit's happening all the time. Just like suddenly now you're 31, right? You're
right.
31, and you are this person. But when you were 2 months old, you were this other person. So a chart is like a baby. It grows from the snapshot at the time of your birth, and it grows with you. So the planets will move, which will reflect how you see things. So for example, you're a Taurus, and depending on the degree of your sun, so it's from 0 to 30. I don't want to hear any of this cusp talk. Oh my God. And the word astrologist is not a fucking word. Okay. It's
astrologer, right?
Yeah. Astrologer. Everybody online's like, I'm an astrologist. I'm like, you're an idiot. Sorry. No offense, but
yikes.
Yeah, no, it's true. That word popped up in the late 80s. And I think they're trying to make it like, you wouldn't call a doctor a doctorist or change it because you're female.
No, it would just be a doctor or a lawyer.
Dr. Susie, Dr. Joe, whatever. Yeah. Like male or female or anything in between. You're just doctor, whatever. So the same with astrology. Astrologist is a hobbyist, not a professional. And so, but they mix it up. And it's a made up word in the 80s. People hate it when I say that, but I can't help myself. You're going to get backlash for that. But when you look at a chart, let's say you're born with 22-degree Taurus sun. I don't know your degree, but let's say it is.
Okay.
So by the time you hit age 8, the progression of your sun is going to go into Gemini. And then you're going to spend 30 years in that. So your Taurus sun is going to be tempered with a communication expression, which is exactly what the hell you're doing right now, by the way. It's going to be tempered. So we technically go through 3 signs in a lifetime if we live to be 90. Because it's 30 years, so a degree per year for each of your planets, depending on the degree. Like my rising is 29 Leo. So by the time I was minutes old, I was already a Virgo rising. So I lived the Virgo rising, even though technically the snapshot is Leo. And now I'm into the Libra part of it because I've gone through that because I'm almost, 58, 60, meaning whatever, it's close enough. And so if you live to be 90, you'll go through it again. So all of your foundation, like your babyhood foundation at 2 months in your little toddler diapers and your little outfit, you grew into your arms and your expression. And it's a whole collaboration of experience and diet and nutrition and physicality. The chart moves like that too. You start off at this degree and you go through 30, 60, 90, like if you live. And so that's why your Taurus expression, I could line 100 of you Tauruses up, or 200, 2,000, 2 million, whatever. And I could line you guys up and, oh, there's your chart. Yeah, I could line you guys up. Your sun is 8. I think that's, yeah, I don't have my glasses on. You're fine. Yeah, 8 degrees. It's 8 degrees and 33 seconds. So look at that. I said 22 and then 8. It's the exact opposite. So you would have been 22 when you went into the sign of Gemini. So you're in that. So go ahead 30 years from age 22, whatever that can't even add.
That'd be 52. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're in that phase right now, which is what I said.
So I'm in the Gemini phase currently.
Yes. On the Taurus. So it's like an overlay. So you have I have my face and I put makeup on.
Okay.
So it's the Gemini makeup. So you express the Taurus communicates like that. So you're communicating that way. That's how that works.
Oh, and I didn't realize I think somebody told me before I do have a couple Aries placements. I didn't realize.
Yeah, Mercury and Venus.
Now, what does that mean?
Mercury is how you think. So we each have a Mercury, and that's the way that we think. Okay. So how do you think? How do you process information? Aries is a lot different than how a Sag is going to process it, okay, than how a Leo is going to process it. So you think like an Aries. Now, Aries, what that means is, I said an Aries. You think like an Aries. That would be Pisces. No offense, Pisces. All right. Anyway, you think like an Aries. So any planets in Aries in a chart are starting new cycles. So the way that you think is different than every single person in your family because you've been brought to think differently down a different strain of thought. It also makes you a good ideas man, not a finisher, but a starter.
That is me. That is very true. Now, what about your Venus in Aries?
Well, Venus in Aries means you're starting out in a different direction. Venus is the type of woman or the expression of love through a partner. Because remember, Venus in itself is feminine, right? So if it's applying to a woman, it's the femininity, the way she expresses herself. If it's applying to a same sex, it's the way the emotion comes through. Okay. So like if you're literally female, so in your chart, it shows your love partner and also your mother. So the combination is Aries and Cancer, and they are squaring in conflict. They conflict. However, they're out of degree because your moon is 2953 Cancer, which means you're almost the Leo moon. So it's almost that. You didn't give your mom enough attention growing up. So
no, the Mars. Now the Mars, the answer. Now the Mars in Leo, what does that mean?
That's how you express your masculinity. Mars in Leo. Mars is masculine, so you are a man. So the type of way you express yourself is as a Leo male.
Okay, that's interesting.
Any variation of it, they're not all the same. But if you have Mars in Sagittarius, you're probably going to be at the gym every day, exercising every day. It's all about exercise. In Leo, it's more like it's the Leo thing. So it has to be fun, playful, but you want the attention on you, which is fine. But the Mars in a man's chart, along with the sun in Taurus, is the way that the person expresses themselves because you are a man.
Okay.
I'm a woman, so my moon and my Venus are the way that I express myself. So I have like Leo, Moon, Cancer, Venus. So I'm also obnoxious.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's that. Now the Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are all what we call generational planets. Groups of people will have those planets you know what I'm saying? Entirely. So they will have them throughout their lifetime. So that's not individual to you, but where it's placed in your chart is individual to you.
Oh.
So because your rising sign moves a chart. So 6 a.m., 7, 8, it moves it around. So those planets will fall into different placements. And while that is a static picture of your birth, when you look at the transits out right now, they are also placed and aspecting those planets. So when an astrologer reads your chart, they're reading all of that. Those are called progressions, but that's what
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's a constant movement. Like it's constant. And North Node is in Sag, I see down there, which means South Node is in the hell's the opposite? Gemini. Like what's the opposite of Sag? I just went out of my head. But the North Node in Sagittarius means, so North Node is where we're going in this life in order to complete this karmic cycle. Okay. So when you die, it is said that you have completed your North Node.
Okay.
So they say. So a lot of us, it takes till we're 90 or however old, you know, long ass time. Your North Node is in Sagittarius. So that is the 9th house, ruling of Sagittarius, Jupiter. So you would look in your chart to where Jupiter is placed. And then
Libra. Okay.
Yeah, it's in Libra, but you would look at what house it's placed in.
Okay.
So it would be in your 2nd house, I believe, because your 1st house is Virgo. So 2nd house is going to be Jupiter in the 2nd. So that's lucky financially. But because the North Node's in Sag, you're supposed to look at theologically and philosophical perspective. You're supposed to learn outside of what you were raised within.
Gotcha.
So all kinds of different theory of anything, like it could be anything you learn, different ways of living and thinking, that kind of thing. Yeah.
That's literally how I live my life.
Yeah, that's your North Node. You're operating off of that. That's good. Very good, because that's what we're supposed to do. My North Node's in Taurus because I don't have an ounce of that in me about building stability.
So it's your challenge to kind of learn it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have to build. I could rely on nobody, and I've had to build I've been disinherited from everybody and everything. You know, whatever. Anybody, I was, as I said, raised with money, but it's all been not given to me because of who I am, I guess. And so I've had to build it myself, brick by brick. That's North Node in Taurus. And always the North Node. So if you look at it, your North Node is 6 months across the calendar year. Okay. So Gemini obviously is in June and Sag is in December. So it's 6 months. So you operate off that energy. What is familiar, South Node? What is not familiar, North Node? So we come in. So Geminis, anybody you know that's Gemini, you probably have connected with them. You might not agree with them all the time too.
Yeah. I'm cool with a Gemini person. Yeah.
Well, you might not agree with them though, but you've known them from a past life because they come in on that axis. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, first.
What are these orbits like? Placidus, or what does that mean?
Oh, Placidus. It's tropical Placidus chart. I don't know why they're using the word orb except to express the degree. So tropical Placidus is a way of reading the chart. It's not sidereal. It's not, Vedic. So the sidereal and Vedic, but it's the Western astrology. Tropical Placidus. So we all know that term and we run the chart that way so that it's uniform. Unless you're doing Vedic astrology, then that's different. Or Chinese astrology, and that's different.
And that's different. True. Okay.
Yeah, not wrong. Different.
This is cool, actually. I mean, yeah.
Not wrong, just different. You know, like people go, "Oh, this is right now." I'm like, not if you can read it. If you can read it and get information, then that's all that matters.
I mean, and my thing is a lot of that is true. Now, it's funny because, like you said, I am a Taurus. I know that. But a lot of times people online will ask me like, "Are you an Aries?" And I'm like, "No." Or like,
fucking fuck.
I'm like, no, not at all. It was just interesting. Or I have another friend. She's like, oh, you act like a Gemini sometimes. And I'm like,
well, but see, your Taurus sun is now in that phase. It's progressed into Gemini. So she's got a good eye. She can spot it.
that makes a lot of sense. Then.
She can spot it. You're still a Taurus, like you're still born with your bone structure that you had at birth. But if you decide to dye your hair purple, shave off your eyebrows and wear high heels, you're going to look different, obviously. She's picking up on that energetic underneath. I can only describe it like that because that's how it is energetically.
Oh,
You still have your foundation, but then it has this like makeup over it.
got it.
Yeah. And then you express it that way.
And I am one to color my hair. I'm not shaving my eyebrows off, but yeah.
Yeah, because that would be stupid.
Yeah, everybody knows I love tattoos, piercings. That's just my thing. So
yeah, it's the fun thing. But yeah, I'm like, I want to always write fuck off on my forehead, but I reframe. You know, I get in a mood and I'm like, you know what? No one cares. Do it. Do it. And then I'm
put
like,
it anywhere else but your face.
I know. I'm like, I understand why they do that.
So
But
is that so? Okay, so if I have those, well, I guess the first three placements you said are feminine driven. So is that why I'm drawn to the arts and entertainment and
absolutely. The Virgo rising is going to be very psychic. Okay. So Virgo, I know everybody hates this and I get emails from Pisces cussing me out all the time, but Virgo is the most psychic sign, not Pisces. And here's why. Okay. Astrologically speaking, from personal experience, and I'm talking 40 years of working with psychics, astrologers, tarot readers, whoever, Reiki, they all have something prominent in Virgo in their chart that makes them really a technician. Okay. Like an absolute technician at what they do. The other thing is when you look at the 12th house, which is past life, okay, Pisces, past life, 12th house. So just remember when you're looking at astrology charts, the first house is always Aries. The 12th is always Pisces. You go around the 12. So no matter what you have in your first or 12th house, it always has an Aries undertone or a Pisces undertone, 7th house, Libra undertone, 2nd house, Taurus undertone. It doesn't matter if you have Aquarius there or Cancer there. It still has the undertone of where it originated. Okay. So that's how it is. But the Virgo rules the 6th house. So the 6th and the 12th house are on the service axis. What I mean by that is the 12th house comes from spiritual service on the other side, incarnated to the 6th house, practical service in this life. Virgo rising is psychic because they can speak practically and they can give information practically. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's why I call them psychic. It's no good if you're in the airy fairy clouds talking because no one will follow what you say. It has to be given in the earthbound dimension, which Virgo does. It's a logical conversation and it happens to be psychic.
Well, I'm just happy. I'm happy you came on the show, not only just to have a conversation with you, but also because, you know, people are on, they're always trying to figure me out and see, now you got it. You see, I'm in my Gemini phase.
Yeah, they do that with me too. And I'm like,
I'm just me. Like, just
yeah, just shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Yeah, sit back and relax. But okay, that's interesting. Wow.
You're a Virgo rising. So people are going to critique you. I'm almost a Virgo rising. So I inflame people because I have Scorpio's planet in Virgo on my ascendant. So people look at me and go, I want to kill her. Just because they think I'm at war with them when I'm just not. But anyway, they come after you. So any Virgo person with Virgo in the first house will be critiqued like crazy. Really? Appearance, ethnicity, religion, partners, kids, decor of house, food they eat. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Been my life. Okay.
Yeah. So then here's what you say. I know you are, but what am I? That's what I wanted to say. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Okay.
Now, I still get curious about the Cancer because I don't feel overly emotional, but.
Well, when you connect with somebody, you could be. Cancer will withhold because they feel abandoned. So if you don't feel comfortable, you're not going to express it.
Gotcha.
Can't look at a Cancer in the wildlife, in the ocean. Cancer, and I love them. I used to collect little crabs on the sea when I was in Florida as a kid, but little Cancer crabs, look at them. They carry their house on their back so they don't commit emotionally. Talking about their little houses on their back. Ooh. They put everything in their little house. They walk sideways away from things, and then they go in the sea and disappear. So emotionally, they have to feel comfortable to come back out of the sea and put their little home down. They're like the cancer crabs. Look at crabs in the wild, like the lions in the jungle.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we're all following. The only one that doesn't follow anything is a Sagittarius because they're mythological, half man, half horse. But what that means is they gather information from the earth and they shoot for the heavens. So Jupiter, Sagittarius, is the higher learning when we die. So what happens after this world? So people like Jimi Hendrix with their Sagittarius mindset were so advanced in certain things they did because they look kind of alternately outside of this world.
Gotcha.
I'm talking about his music. You know, I don't know about his
oh no. Oh, and by the way, Sloan is a Jimi Hendrix fan. She loves Lenny Kravitz. She loves everything.
Do you know my girlfriend just styled Lenny on his last shoot and did not invite me? I am so mad. Yes, she did. She posted it on her story. I was like cussing her out. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Now people think I'm crazy, but I love Lenny Kravitz style. I always has. It's so different.
Oh my God, he's flamboyant. He's fantastic. I think is he a Gemini? I think he's a Gemini.
He is a Gemini, and he's dating somebody. It just came out. I can't think of it, but they're in Aries.
Okay, wait. Who did I just hear? Oh, Mariah Carey. God help him.
Yes.
Sorry, did I say that out loud?
You did.
Anyway, I don't know how that's gonna work. Really?
I don't know. She seems very diva-ish, but I don't.
She's interesting. My kids used to see her ex-husband at the gym in Burbank all the time. What's his name with 20 kids?
Nick Cannon.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, the one with a bunch of kids with the brood of children over here. Yeah, they used to work out the same gym, see him all the time. He just wander in, wander out, wander in, wander out. Yeah.
Just like with women, he wanders in and wanders out.
Wanders out, exactly. Good one. Good one. Yeah, he is dating Mariah. Yeah, Mariah. I think it is. Yeah. So good luck to him.
Good luck to him. But yeah, he's a pretty cool. I love his style as well.
His style is really great. I think his style is fantastic. Yeah.
I think so too. Now, who are famous Tauruses? Like
Barbra Streisand. She's just the one off the top. But again, just the one off the top of my head. Who else?
I think The Rock is.
Okay, The Rock. I don't know for sure. Let's look it up. Who's famous Tauruses?
I feel like
I should know this, but I don't.
Know.
But I don't. Oh, Adele, Gigi Hadid, Jessica Alba, Channing Tatum, Dwayne Johnson, George Clooney. I did know that. Okay, Queen Elizabeth. You know, I have no. I mean, she's.
We
don't like her. I mean, I don't. I'll speak for myself. Sorry.
I don't either.
David Beckham, Kelly Clarkson. Oh, Janet Jackson. Yeah, Janet Jackson, same year as me. We're the same age. Janet Jackson, John Cena, Lizzo, Robert Patterson, Megan Fox. Now she's cute. Audrey Hepburn, back in the day.
Ooh, classy. Okay.
Yeah, Penelope Cruz.
Really?
Amber Heard. I guess you can't help that. Chris Brown, Barbra Streisand, Uma Thurman, Renee Zellweger.
Okay.
Yeah. And probably a bunch. Remy Malek, didn't he play Queen? Was he the Queen?
He did.
Yep, him, and that's it. But Adele pops up first. She'll be 35 May 5th.
So what's interesting is out of those, I don't know why I keep spinning everywhere. What's interesting is that, my good Lord, a lot of those people, they're hard workers. Like they focus and work.
They need stability and security. That means money on this planet.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So when a Taurus wants to feel secure, you have to give them things. If they have 2 cars in the garage, they're happy. If they have 16 pairs of shoes, they're even happier. If they have fudge brownies with their shoes, they're even happier. They love food. If they have a blanket and you let them nap in the middle of the day,
calling me out everything.
They're even happier. So they're happy little creatures. Yeah. That's their thing. Now, if you try to do that, like for me, if I see 2 cars in the garage, all I can think about is like, oh my God, I got to take care of 2 cars. It's blocking my garage. I need to take off. Now I have this. Now I'm stuck here. So I think the exact opposite, which is why I don't have any Taurus. I have North Node. I'm learning how to be accepting of that. But it makes people used to offer me contracts in the TV industry to do shows. And I'd be like, oh God, this is going to get in the way of my running. I'm sorry, I can't. He will be like, are you stupid? And I'm like, apparently, no, I'm going to have to commit to it. That's not stability. Locking me into a financial contract or giving me a pension is a kiss of death. Like, I find it suffocating and a nightmare. Yeah, the opposite. So it was never security for me to like, I don't even plan for the future. I don't care. Like, I could die. I mean, I'll plan for next week, but that's about it. So I'm not trying to build so I can take off. I like to go take off. So that's the difference.
And I'm trying to build so one day I can just go relax.
Yes. Yeah. I want to keep moving, seeing different things and, build, but not commit to it. So I guess I'm non-committal in everything but marriage. Okay. But yeah, I guess I'm non-committal. But yeah, Taurus likes the security. So when you say to a Taurus, you're part of the Teamsters Union and you're going to get a pension and a 401k, they're like, that's the job. But then they'll call me and say, I hate my job. And I'm like, well, then why don't you do something else? Well, I have a pension. Well, that's what you like.
You got to pick your poison. Yeah.
Yeah. So they prefer it in a different way. You see?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. This lighting is so bad. I think I look like shit.
No, you look great. No, a lot of those people, wow. And George Clooney took forever to settle down. Like, it's just interesting with those stories.
Yeah, but he had security, financial, and all of that. He had all of that, right?
Yeah. He did. Yes.
He worked. I mean, he was a movie star and all of that. And he had girlfriends. He just didn't commit to them, until he wanted children, I guess, which was part of what that was for him. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't know him. I don't care for him. He bugs.
A lot of these celebrities are interesting. Can you speak on, I know I said before we go, you mentioned O.J. Simpson and MK Ultra.
Yes, I did. When he died, again, I don't like him, but I will say this. Fine looking, every beautiful feature that God gives, statue, athletic ability, which is something I love, the athletic side of a person, height, beautiful bone structure, beautiful face. I mean, he was a good looking man. Unfortunately, his brain was a little bit off, but he was a very handsome man. So he had every attribute. So I'm thinking to myself, this is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
What would make him do that? And honestly, when he passed, I felt great. People are going to hate me for saying this. I felt sad for him because I felt him not understanding why he did what he did. Almost like, why did I bang my head against that wall? I don't know why I did it, because there's a split in his brain. I felt that as he was passing out. Now, that doesn't help the families of everybody that he dealt with or his kids or whatever. But I felt like for the first time when I'm looking, because it enraged me what went on. I have a friend that was living next door to the house when that happened.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, two actually in high school. One was living with the other one at the dad's house over there. So, you hear behind the scenes stories from people, and I've heard them from people that used to eat lunch next to OJ every Sunday and stuff like this, but just private stories, which is neither here nor there. But when he crossed out, I just got the distinct feeling, like just for a second, and I was running and somebody texted it to me. It was like early in the morning. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I knew his brain was fractured, and not from football, which could also be a component of something else. But right. To me, it was fractured. So I believe O.J. Simpson was born into a elite family where he was traumatized as a child continually, and not by day to day, your weirdo uncle or the stupid neighbor down the street, but actually fully agendized in order to do what he did.
So either MK Ultra or maybe satanic ritual abuse?
Yes. Yeah. One or the other. I don't know which. I said okay. MK Ultra, but I'm not sure, but I felt the confusion when he passed out. Like, why did I do that? And it's interesting because I'll tell you, in court, not that I believe serial killers. I'm not talking about OJ. Jeffrey Dahmer, my cat just snuck in and now she's bugging. Jeffrey Dahmer in court said, I don't know why I did what he did. And OJ reminded me. Now you could say he's making up shit, right? Jeffrey Dahmer but he was definitely MK Ultra. That's the addiction. That's the constant, like, trying to figure out what's wrong and not being able to heal it, and the trauma they wear all over them. I wonder if OJ is getting a visual of what he did. Do you know what I mean? And then wondering, like, fuck, because I
Why
feel
did
like
I do that?
yeah, why? I'm serious when I say that. I mean, I'm not on his side. So for people that think I'm whatever, I'm not. But I felt that when he left. And it made me think of like how they use human beings as weapons. Like Charles Manson was raised by a general. His mother was a prostitute, brothel woman, owner, whatever, madam, but she pimped him out to a general in the army who raised him, funded him. Well, look at him. See what I'm saying?
That makes a lot of sense now.
Because when you look at Charles Manson, and actually he spoke some sense in jail when he talked about the government and stuff. He wasn't wrong, but he just appeared crazy and had that blank stare. And they tell us all the time, oh, he's crazy or he's demonic, and they can be demonic. But I think that they're ritualized enough where entities get into them and then the behavior is not their own. That's what I'm saying.
I can believe that too.
And I'm not making an excuse for bad behavior. That is not what I'm doing. But that's how it felt. And when OJ left, I felt great sadness on his part when he crossed out and saw. So I wonder if part of him here was under a different impression about what happened that night. Like it was blocked from him. Look at all the kids that kill, like Aurora, Colorado, you know, the school.
No, they always say, I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know why. Yeah.
Exactly. Because, well, first of all, if they're MK Ultra, it's an alternate personality, a humanized weapon. That's one thing. We know the CIA does that, of which I'm not proud of. Yes. of which I'm not an agent, you assholes. Anyway, I had to say it. Sorry. It was begging to be said. But when you look at them, they're also on a subsequent amount of psych meds. And then they're given weapons. And somehow they do that with these weapons. Like, why? Just because you're given a gun, like, why do you get the urge to go and kill? Are you programmed to do that? And that's a way of keeping us in a certain state of fear every time we hear that. We become fearful. You know, oh, they're just crazy. There's not that many crazy people. They're on psych meds. What is it doing to their chemistry?
You're right.
All of those killers are. Every single one of those young men is on some kind of mood altering, whatever, for depression or blah, 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 whatever. So I wonder, you know, their brains are fragmented. When you look at, and I will tell you this story, but I won't say who it is because I don't think I should, but meaning I had a client who was a very famous female musician client. And this was in 2016-ish when I went in to do the reading for her and her mom family, right? So, and she was one of them, very famous. And young woman. Anyway, she came in and I saw her move through 5 different personalities to the point where she was like sitting in my lap while I was doing the reading and being a kind of a younger child, if you will.
Okay.
So I was like, huh. And I watched it. It was a great education for me. A great education. So I was like, I was being shown things by the people that I came in touch with. When you look at Anna Nicole Smith, and you look at her when she has the clown makeup on and she's pregnant with her youngest child, not her son, Danny Lynn, the good little girl. Yeah. And you look at her and she's talking like this. And then there's another little kid doing like drawing on her face. Or,
it was just weird. It's very
that's
weird.
MK Ultra. That's a child. That's a child alter. Now extend it to Nicki Minaj, who says she has Ronin and he's a teenage boy and he says things and she can't stop him. He just popped up. That's an alter. They bring in alters. That is true. Roseanne Barr back in the day saying she sold out at age 12. Her words, not mine. Okay. So she did say she made a deal. Now, who she made it with fictitiously in her own head, I don't know, but that's what she said. Right. And she
was that, but I think that was after, because she got hit by her car when she was a kid too.
Yes, yes. And so she said she had multiple personality disorder.
She did say that, yeah.
She did. And now she understands it differently and kind of took it back. So it's interesting. I will tell you I was pregnant with Keith. So in 94, I worked at Children of the Night and Roseanne was there at the same time that I worked there. It's an abused children's shelter. And for under 18-year-old prostitutes. She had 2 children in the shelter at that time. 2 of her kids were residents at that time. Okay. At that time. And she worked there. Now, the generous thing she did is she paid all the bills for a couple of years, which is very generous. But it's interesting. So is it a family dynamic, or is it like Paris Hilton being sent out to that camp she went to where they
in Utah? Yep.
Yeah, and they traumatized the crap out of her, if not kidnapped her. Okay, so her parents said they didn't know how to handle her, but watch her face and her expression and ask yourself, like, just watch her and ask
because she goes in and out. Like even to the point now, like when you hear her real voice, you're like, is that Paris?
Huh? Yeah, who is that? Yeah.
Like, who is that?
It's very strange. And they go in and they go out. And so when you observe it, you begin to see it. And I really feel OJ was like that. Like, I really feel it. And I remember and I've told the story a bazillion times, but I remember me, Jason, John. Jason was 2.5, 94, getting off a plane in Canada for me to go get my green card. The day that, and I got off the plane and OJ was coming back from Chicago. It was on the TV. I remember looking up and going, what the hell is happening? Because I've been on a plane traveling, whatever. And I remember looking, and at that moment, this is before I found out, but it's true. I remember saying, oh yeah, I think he did it. And I think it's because his father's gay. Well, then it comes out years later, his father was a gay drag queen. They said drag queen, but he was actually a transgender. He lived as a woman, or maybe that is a drag queen. Maybe he didn't have the surgery. I don't know the difference at this point.
I think that technically would have been back then a transvestite.
Transvestite. Thank you. Yeah. And so he was that. And I thought to myself, how interesting. His father was bringing in that agenda, because it is an agenda. I mean, you know, you can be whatever you want. I don't care what you are, but don't tell me what to be. But
let's speak on that too. Like, with all the different gender expressions now, like, is that spiritual or is that more emotional?
There aren't that many. Well, no, they can express themselves that way, yes. But when you die and I die and they look at our bones,
male or female,
you're male or female. So I'm sorry to disappoint. However, I feel this is part of the takedown of the United States of America. Look what they're doing. They don't want an overpopulation. So let's talk 12-year-olds into having surgery where they can't reproduce. If I jack you up on a bunch of hormones when you're a 12-year-old little girl to make you a boy, that's going to fuck up your reproductive. If I remove your penis, well, then that's obvious, right? And painful. But if you, do you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And I think it's part of Agenda 2030 and what David Icke speaks about. That, if you know who David Icke is.
Yeah, you'll own nothing and be happy. And I mean, they do want a reduced population. Because I think, isn't the goal to get it to like 800 million?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's something. But see, here's my thinking. California, the most annoying state on planet Earth. The middle of rush hour traffic going down Wilshire into Santa Monica, the slowest mother effing place you could ever drive through without gouging your eyes out while you're in the car. Seriously. I'm serious. They've removed a driving lane to put a bike lane. Now, I'm just going to say, I'm really happy that you want to bike around LA, but until I see Gavin Newsom or any of them on a bike in 117 degrees, which it will be by the end of August.
Yes, it will.
With their hair, you know, come on now. They're not out there. I want to see Nancy Pelosi on her bike. I want to see it. I want to see her. She's not going to do it.
The fake Indian, Nancy Pelosi.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's not going to happen. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio in an airplane telling me I need to worry about, you know, climate change. Dude, get out of your plane and shut the fuck up. Seriously, don't tell me. But they position these people. And I'm not here to do what the government wants me to do. And I wish more people would have that, because we're born in captivity. Yes. If you think about it, we are born in captivity. I was not born as one of God's instruments to do what some man in the White House, whether it be Orange Man Bad or the guy in diapers, whatever, whichever, both of them and anybody in between. Take it all the way back to Reagan, go past that, go back to Johnson, wherever. I'm not here to do that. They try to make you think that you're here to live against your moral compass because they tell you. And that's not at all what I'm here to do. I'm here on my soul mission. That does not mean I'm going to ignore laws and hurt people. I don't mean it like that, but I do mean it. They are taking every ounce of our natural creativity away from us and forcing us like herded cattle to do what they want us to do. And I just think
essentially become robots.
Yes, they want us to do. They want us to work, to, you know, in these jobs. Look what they do. here, you got a pension, you got a 401k. Oh yeah, we robbed your 401ks and now we're not giving you your pension. Fuck you, and you can't fight them, and you're dead when you do.
Yeah, and it's like, figure it out. The most saddest thing, I've seen so many stories of people get into like that 29th year on the job, and then it's like, oh well, you're fired and you have no money.
Exactly, which is why you should never spend a lifetime at any job. It's not a plus, it's a negative.
I agree.
To me, it's a negative. Like you and your union, you don't have any guarantee. You don't have any guarantee.
There are no guarantees in life. That's the secret.
Correct. And these people are like, I had to remind people during the whole, I know, vaccine thing, but I'm like, in World War II, those government officials followed what that weirdo said because they had to feed their families. That's the exact excuse they use. I would not have done that. I'm not doing that for you for a paycheck because it goes against me morally. So they get us to look against our morals, which are our connection to source. Do you see? For money.
And they also get us to fight over things like race and religion. And
the government concocted that. I don't know anybody. I mean, there's some, I see them on the news, but I'm talking my personal life experience. I'm in Los Angeles. I love it when people call me racist. I'm like, dude.
Where did that come from? Like, where did that come
from? Because I'm white. They're being racist. And somebody's like, oh, she's pretty. That's why they put, I'm like, first of all, cuss my mother out for that because whatever, I look like them. I can't help that or not help it, whatever. Secondly, when they do the racist, they think it's going to stop me from talking. But like if you saw, I tell people know where I live. I do not live in the safe neighborhood. I live in where we were like the only white. My kid was like one of the only blondes in the school. Okay. There were not a bunch of white people. Nobody is white in California, really, quite frankly. We are the minority here. And it's every other race but that.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
And they, and even if you want to look at it, Beverly Hills is full of Middle Eastern, however you want to word that.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I'm just saying. And
it's a bunch of immigrants. Yeah, first, second, third generation. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm Canadian. I'm a scallywag that came in here.
But I'm like, why? I saw that and I'm like, where did they? Is it because she likes old white men? That's okay. She likes old white men.
That's who I'm used to. But yeah, and he wasn't old when I met him. Well, he was older than me, but you know what I'm saying. Now he's older. But yeah, it's weird. I don't know why people hate their own races. I don't know why they pick on other races. Most people I meet, and I have clients of every race, religion, and mental problem. I've had schizophrenics come to my house right out of like off the street, really asking for help because they know they need help. I don't really turn anybody away. Like, I don't understand where that comes from. And again, I'm Canadian. I'm from a different thing. Like, we don't have the American history. So we have the Queen's history because she ruined it for us. But, some people are like, why does she always talk about natives? Because I'm Canadian. We grew up
Canadian. And there are natives in Canada. Oh
that's the problem. That's the problem with us. That's who was chastised in our country. And I come from that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, they get a surprise if they ever go to Alaska. It's a bunch of natives there too. It's just like,
I know. They're like, why is she like defending them? I'm like, shut the fuck up. But it's weird because my kids, and especially Keith, as a tall white boy with blonde hair and green blue eyes. Okay. So he couldn't be more whiter, and freckles, his little freckles. That kid brought every ethnicity, every person, whether they've been in prison as a little kid, like juvenile reform across the border, illegals. He brought everybody into my house. Nobody, like there wasn't one person. There was also white people, kids he went to school with, but he brought home a host of different nationalities, religions, races. I would answer the door and be shocked every time. Like, I'm like, what do you want with my son? Gangbangers at the door. And I'm dead serious. Like, my kid was a little skinny kid and these big, almost male, like grown ass men looking type, but they were, they just developed quicker. And they'd be like, is Keith here? And I'm like, is this good or bad? Like, is he getting his ass kicked, or is this,
like, what's going on here? Yeah.
And so then Keith would come down and, Mom, that's my friend from blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, see you later. And so we accepted nobody in our family has ever said. I mean, it's even funnier because we, the cousins, which are my husband's side of the family, so the family I married into, we have Filipino, we have Black, and we have a mixture of age range differences. And we even have people that are white and married to a Black man 20 years older. So we have age and race discrepancy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you got the whole thing going on there.
Got the whole thing. Like that side of the family, the Bella side of the family, everybody's married a different race. So when they say it, I'm like, we have grandkids that are all different. Like, what? It's just stupid.
It's just so. By the way, you have a cool last name. By the way,
I married it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. No, your name is Bella.
Last name is Bella. Yeah, so I married it. That's the reason I married him. Really, was for the last name.
For the last name. No, I love it. Listen,
I wasn't going to.
Like,
no offense.
But it sounds like someone in Hollywood, you know. So I'm just like, wow, that's a cool last name.
Yeah, I really married. That's really his last name, and it's Austrian. His family, Austrian, Hungarian, wherever they were from in Europe, and then it came into Canada, and so. They're all Bellas. We're Bellas. Yeah. So I'm not giving it up for any reason whatsoever.
I wouldn't either. I don't blame you.
There's that. But yeah, anyway, the people, if you're in the public eye, you get called names, I'm sure. You get told you're probably the opposite of what you are, whatever that is.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. And they tell you you're full of shit. And, you know, now tell me, I was super interested in hearing about Jaguar Wright. Tell me.
Yes.
Oh my God. I love your stuff with her. She's so
I know we really get along. She's a Taurus female.
Okay.
And
that's why she doesn't back down. That's good.
At all. She does not at all. And, you know, she was around the industry coming up, and then now she can tell all of the stories that, like, you know, back in the day, you sounded crazy when you would say certain things like, oh, such and such tried to rape me. And people were like, he would never. And then 20 years later.
You need the persona.
Yes, the persona is not real.
Them? Do you know them? Like, do you actually know them?
You don't. It's just like with Oprah, right? Yes. Everybody thinks, oh gosh, she's so she's horrible.
I used to know, you're gonna laugh. I have an Oprah story, but not Oprah. It's a Oprah adjacent story.
Okay.
So I was years ago pitching a psychic show with a friend of mine, okay, who was a producer. And you go to all the network meetings. So we went to one of the studios and one of the network meetings, and this particular executive running this particular studio, we'll just say Paramount maybe. Anyway, that particular executive had started Harpo, okay? So she was a person who had started Oprah's show, like the Harpo, she was that executive. But it was really funny because she loved psychics and loved the shows, but she got scared that my partner and I were witches, and it caused a whole hoopla of nonsense to the point where I was talking to so they go as executives onto different networks, right? So I had another booker who was a client of mine at another network, and he goes, yeah, my boss, he didn't tell me who it was. He goes, I told her I had to talk to my psychic, and she asked, oh, who's the psychic? And I mentioned it was you. And he goes, I think I almost got fired for that. But I knew exactly why, because they want you to be psychic, but when you're real, then they call you like a witch. That's my funny story. So
Oprah's a witch.
Yes, I know. That's why she's saying when she even gets a glimpse of somebody who can tap in, they get
scared. It can call her out.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They get very scared because they know where they come from and they know what boundaries they crossed. And if you get something right, they won't hire you. Okay, they won't. They'll drag you around like a purse, but they will not hire you because they know you know.
Well, you know what? If I'm full of shit and I know you can call me out, I'm not going to have you around either.
Yeah. Or if I know your secrets from behind.
Yeah. Or if I can't control you, that makes sense.
Yes. And Oprah is a huge trafficker. I'm going to say it. She's a huge trafficker. She travels.
I mean, let's be clear. You were cool with Russell Simmons, the John of God. Yeah. John of God. Epstein. Oh no, Weinstein. I mean, just like Naomi Campbell. It's just like.
Well, Naomi Campbell, unfortunately, she was born into it. She was sold. Some of these people are sold as children by their parents. You know, no offense to her mother, but they're sold, and they're sold into servitude to behave in a certain way. But somebody like Britney Spears, I feel, literally is in a soul trap And I see glimpses of her actual essence, and then it's shifted away and pushed out of her body. And she's complete. Look what they've done to her. And none of us stopped it. Not that I could have, not that you could have, but nobody stopped it. We should not be giving these people money for entertainment when they're trying to take conservatorship over. And by the way, Nickelodeon, I knew this from family parties about Dan Schneider. I know people on those shows. I was told years ago, Bill Cosby, years ago, a friend of mine who worked on Cheers at Paramount told me that. I didn't believe her. I said, my husband and I both said to her, you're fucking crazy.
Because of the persona.
Yes. My husband never liked Bill Cosby. He did think he was hiding something, but me, I didn't care either way. I'm like, he's got a show. I watch the show. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But my friend told me what he did to her. And I was like, oh, come on now. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, no. And then when it happened, I was like, oh, shit, she wasn't lying, because I would have never believed it. And it's not, see, people get confused. I think that they push people of different ethnicities out there in order to take down groups of people. So I don't think it's that people are racist, because they always say that when you, like, if you bring up OJ, they're like, oh, it's always OJ or P. Diddy. I'm like, there's plenty of white men, Weinstein being one of them, okay? And every other, oh my God, so many of them, all of them in the industry the same way. I don't know about Clint Eastwood. That's the only one I don't know about. I haven't heard anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know about him either.
I've never heard anything like that. But like Brando, going back to Marlon Brando, which was shocking to me. You've got Robert Blake shooting his girlfriend, not shooting her, not finding evidence, but whatever, having her killed. He's a white guy. Yep. So you can have them all. And then you could go into the Bollywood, you could go into China, you could go into that, and it's all the same, or they're not getting where they're going. But they make it like that. And it's unfortunate, because we have to stop paying these entertainers, all of them. Like, if you beat a woman, we should not be supporting you. We should not be making excuses for you.
Oh God, we really wouldn't be supporting anyone.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Like Dr. Dre should not be at a billionaire status.
No. But he's a billionaire because he agreed to the trafficking of human beings. That is what they're doing. Now, you heard Beiber when he came out against, you heard what Beiber said. Did you hear that remember when he was going to give up music? Do you remember that?
I remember he was going to give up music. I remember reading something about, he said he couldn't take what they did to the children. I don't know what that meant.
Yes. And they killed a boy in a bus. And he said his agent, I don't know which agent or who. And he told TMZ that. Is he
talking about Scooter Braun?
I don't know. I don't know who. He said they brought I want to say 6 or 7 or 8-year-old into the bus. His agent and someone else, could have been a manager. I can't quite remember that. And he said they wanted him to ritualize him, which is sodomy ritual. And he chose not to. And he said that boy died after what they did to him. That was written in his own handwriting, and it disappeared off the internet. And then he said he was giving up music, and he told TMZ, you know why? And then he ended up at the Hillsong Church. And that guy is a handler. I mean, they just pushed him in there, and he's a white guy. Smiley face.
The same thing they did with Angus T. Jones from 2.5 Men. All of a sudden, he got involved in a church.
Yes, Angus. Do you remember? I used to do the rap parties for Charlie Sheen, and he's despicable. Okay, like one of the people on the show I knew since my first appearance in California. She was somebody I worked with, and she always took me along with her on stuff. You know people, and they like you, and they take you along. She was lovely, but she would hire me to do the rap parties. And I must say, Charlie Sheen, good looking man in person. Like, if you didn't know anything, he really was quite handsome. And I don't even like him. I really dislike. Okay. Like, I've always really disliked him. I wouldn't even give him a second thought if he talked to me. But it was so interesting, because when you look back at Angus T. Jones, whatever his name is, and you listen to him saying, keep your kids away from the show, it sounds like he got ritualized right at that point.
Just like the Corey guy did by Charlie Sheen.
And Corey Hames. Yeah, Corey Hames. Yeah, exactly. So there's Charlie Sheen, but then it goes back to Charlie Sheen's father, and it goes back to Alan Thicke, and it goes back. I mean, it goes back and back and back and back. Alan Thicke.
Wait, Carlos Estevez, right?
No, that's the brother. The father is Martin Sheen. Apocalypse Now, Martin Sheen. But it goes back to him, and first of all, they all marry for beards. They all have beards. Look at Kirk Douglas going out there getting awards. Okay, I realize he had a stroke. You know what? He had the stroke that he deserved for the rape of Natalie Wood. How about that? So he got the stroke that he deserved for raping Natalie Wood, which she told everybody, and no one listened to that woman. Okay, she was 16 in the industry. He raped her. That's what she said. Oh no, she's a liar. Spartacus over here is like, Spartacus family knows. Spartacus, I'm sorry, that cracks me up.
They
know, and he should have made amends. But instead, we're looking at him out on stage getting Lifetime Achievement Awards, and he can't speak. But the reason he can't speak is his karma slapped him right in the face. That's why he can't speak. And he was old. But I mean, he had to go out there, and people still talk nicely about him. And then there's Natalie Wood, her husband, and Christopher Walken. I mean, those two were making out. She caught them, and off she went. I mean, there's so much shit goes on, and it's like. And then look at Judy Garland. Look what they did to her. Look at Baby Burlesque. And then, so it's not one group of people. It's
Shirley Temple.
Yes, Baby Burlesque. Who labels 3-year-olds in movies as burlesque? I'm just curious. Like, I know I'm crazy and prudish, but really? Yeah. So when you look at it, it's all the way along through the entertainment industry. And unfortunately, in like the echelon of like what P. Diddy's in, he monopolized it, but I don't think he's the head guy. I actually think he's working like underneath other people.
Would that be Clive Davis?
Clive Davis, but I think political people as well. I'm even going to say that, politicians. So government officials for real, not turning against them, hired by them.
Got it.
And to give information to them, not that we would know, not like speaking wrong information, giving information. Ashton Kutcher had that app, Thorn app for trafficking kids. Call in. Be clear about that. Here's an app. Okay, I'm on my phone. Here's an app. These kids are missing. We can go scoop them up. And there's no evidence of that they ever called into the app. We now know where to find them. We now know where to traffic them. Right?
It's a lot of questions like that we need to ask. Like, what happened to all those Haitian kids that got adopted when that hurricane hit? Oh
my God. Oh my God. Sean Penn. We should ask him. We should ask that fucker what happened to them. First of all, I can't even. Canada was trying to take them in. Okay. The Clintons were connected to that. Horrific. Laura Silsbury. That goes way back, but they've been killing people. We're living in like gangland terrorism of whatever you want to call it in this country, in the world. And we thought we had, if I work hard, I'll get a good job. Bullshit. You'll get a job, but bullshit.
Yeah, you'll get a job. Yeah.
And they steal kids out of third world countries. I always said this. I was told, okay, in my whatever video with Princess Di, I was literally told brown skinned babies. Now, there's a reason for that in their rituals, which they go into. I didn't understand it, but also look at the fact that most people of color live in those countries, like a huge, I'm not talking America or Canada or England. I'm talking countries where people don't question.
Yes.
A lot of, and even in China could be considered like dark skinned, more darker skinned than white, right? There's whatever. So they go there to poverty. So I even feel like the energy of the country has been hijacked and kept down so the people can never get out, so they can keep incarnating them into those countries to steal them as energy. And I'm being serious when I say that. I think this whole world needs to like be gone.
Wait, you know what? It sounds like we just need one major reset. Just
click. Well, because energetically they hijack the latitude and longitude of those countries. Those are the ley lines that they harness energy. And they just kidnap people. I mean, how many times have you heard, I don't want to pay extra for merchandise out of America, and they go to third world country. It's a sweat lodge. Stop doing that. Don't buy from those people.
It's slave labor all day long.
All day long, 8 cents. You want to be doing that shit for 8 cents? I mean, it's terrible. And yet we keep consuming. It's weird. And now it's even worse. Okay, now I'm on a rant. Anyway, yeah, it's worse. But
yeah, because then when you start telling people, yeah, you know those diamonds that you love, yeah, let that go to, and people freak out. But yeah.
Yeah, they freak out. But you can get moissanite or something else. You can get another stone, put it on your finger. No one knows the difference. And who told us that diamonds were worth that much?
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, who said that? Where did that come from? And by the way, my friend who had beautiful diamonds, she's a hairdresser. She owns a salon. Anyway, she said to me, I will never buy a diamond again. I said, why? She said, because I tried to pawn mine and it ain't worth shit. It was like a really expensive diamond. And she goes, what is this amount of money going to do me? Nothing. Cat food? No. Dog food?
It's a scam. It's just a scam.
It's a scam. So get the rock you like and put it in gold. And, you know, it's only worth as much as you can sell it for.
Damn.
Yeah. She even said that. I mean, she had classic diamond rings, like very expensive. I don't know why she was pawning them. I didn't go there with her.
But still, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the world is literally built off of that. I mean, even when you talk about like the modeling industry, they're escorts. Like,
oh, yacht girls, escorts, all of it. And then there you've got young kids like my grandkids or people that are 12, my oldest granddaughter, 12 or 13, and they're like, I want to look like a Kardashian. They don't look like themselves.
No.
They do not look like
how they used to look.
I know. And when you look at how they used to look, I wouldn't want to look like them. I like the way I look. Sorry to disappoint. I can, you know, I mean, I don't understand it, but you do understand it because didn't they just catch Kris Jenner with P. Diddy?
Yeah. Yeah. She used to date P. Diddy.
Okay. She really is out of control with her age differences.
But she throws her cooch at everybody. Like it.
But who's taking it? I'm sorry. Ew.
No, she was a thing back in the day, though. I don't know. Maybe it's that Scorpio female energy. I don't know, but
she must have been using sex glamour magic to do it because, oh, that's who it is. It's her boyfriend now.
Corey Gamble.
Yeah, the two of them above P. Diddy, and then there's a political connection to it.
I don't know the political, but remember, Corey used to also be in Justin Bieber's camp, too.
Oh, there you go.
So this is weird.
And by the way, Justin Bieber's mother, and I shouldn't even say this really, but if you're Justin Bieber's family or you are Usher's family, why are you giving your kids to P. Diddy? Like, as soon as some guy ever asked for my kid, famous or not, and it's what my kid wanted, I'd be like, at 21, you can decide.
Because they do anything for fame. The story was, I'm going to take Usher and I'm going to teach him how to have swag. So he needs to live with me, and then I'll give him back when he's.
So his mother sold him. I'm a mother.
They couldn't say it on VH1 like that, but that was the story.
Okay, yeah, you have swag. Get out of here. Wow, have swag. No, that guy is not raising my kid. I don't care what I want. No, 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 no. Can you imagine? No, just think about that.
My mother was not like, first of all, if she didn't know you, I didn't go with you. Like, my mother was just like that. That was just like.
Yeah, I was like, I got to look. We had a rule. Nobody took our kids swimming but us in case, you know, because of water.
Ritual. Yep.
Yeah. Well, just like drowning them. I mean, like not watching them because people don't watch. And then I never let my kids go with men that wanted to watch my kids. Like,
it's just always fucking weird, right?
Men is a red flag. I mean, no offense. Yeah. If you're a father and your kid is friends like with my kid and there are two fathers that have kids, they're going to a sports game. I guess
that's a little different. But even me as a grown man, I don't want to be around your fucking kid. Like, that's weird to me. Like, around adults.
Babysit your kid. No, you can't. Thank you.
No, like no.
That's a react that you're correct. So they target people, and why people buy into that, I don't know. You know, it's very weird. It's
anything
just
for fame. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. And poor Justin is here. Weird. And now he's a fractured person. He's half the person he was. Like, he looks like he is not okay all the time.
Absolutely. And now his wife is ready to bail. And although she may have just been a handler.
Right? I think, well, look at the Baldwin family.
Yeah. Well,
I hate Alec the worst. I hate him the worst. And by hate, I mean, I have a vicious hatred. I see him and I want to punch him in the face. I don't like him. He's mean. Horrible.
Yeah, that family's
Horrible.
interesting too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's offensive. He's offensive in everything. Maybe he's a clone. Let me bring that up. I'm kidding.
Oh
Maybe
my God. Yeah, that's a whole nother story there.
right? The clones. Look at how weird this camera is. So weird. I don't know how it look. Look. I don't
No,
know.
it looks great though. It looks great. It looks great. Let me see. Any last questions before we go? Since you are I'm trying to think. I think that's it. I remember you saying on your show you don't get into the dark arts, you don't do spells.
No, I don't. People ask me all the time because here's my belief. You can want anything you want. I already know you're not going to get it on this planet. Okay. I already know that. Like what you think you want is not what you want, but you have free will. However, if you truly, as a creative being, have a purpose, why would I tamper with that because you have an emotional human need to have your neighbor's husband or to fuck your baby daddy up or whatever? And by the way, just because you ask me to do the spell or your practitioner does not mean it doesn't come back to you. Some people get a third party to absolve themselves. No, no, no.
Yeah.
No.
Universal law.
That third party is the telephone, you idiot. And you're dialing the number. So I don't do that. I don't do that for myself. The only thing I do is ask God to bring me what I'm supposed to be doing and keep my family safe. I mean, I'm always going to pray, and your family and, whoever, but I ask God to put me on the path I'm meant to do. And I don't even care what I do now. So if I feel a need to do it, I will do it. I was not that way at your age. I had different mindset. I still didn't do spells like that. I would do spells against you if you bothered me to send it back to you.
Okay. That's more defensive. Okay. Got it.
So I would, if you throw a snowball in my door, I'm throwing it back out. But here's something I learned. I may assume it's you doing it to me. So now what I do, if somebody's throwing, because you can feel it, if somebody's throwing shit at you, I ask God to take it back to where it came from because I don't know. I may think it's this person because they're bugging the shit out of me, but it may be that person who is coveted, hidden.
Okay. I like that.
You see? So I just say to God, wherever this is coming from, send it back in the name of Jesus. Amen. You know what you're doing. I give it to God, send it back because I don't really know who's doing it. I think I do, but that's maybe my interaction with them. Are they the ones doing it? Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just mouthing off to my face. And this one over here smiling is doing shit
behind your back. That's a good point.
Yeah, I know. And I was going to say, after the first P. Diddy thing broke, and I know I read some comments on this and they're like, she's crazy. But after the first P. Diddy thing broke, I ended up with rats in my car. Did you hear me on the live stream? I had my little car. So I live in Los Angeles. Obviously, there's full of rats. But so I'm told by exterminators around here.
Okay. I didn't know that, but okay.
Yeah, New York and LA are really bad. Anyway, it was like last September. And so this is before the P. Diddy thing. My wires got eaten by rats, right? And then when P. Diddy broke, it happened again. So I was like, ugh. So I didn't think anything of it because because your rats are made out of your wires are made out of soybean oil if your car is a new car. Yeah. The car industry is now fucking with us, right? And
Good Lord. Okay.
Yeah, it's green ecology, but there's so many damaged cars from that. So anyway, the P. Diddy thing broke. And within 3 days, I was driving and I have a hatchback and I heard something in a bag in my back hatchback. So I pulled off the road and there was like a mouse, a rat. I threw the thing out of the car. I'm screaming, cussing in the phone, phoning my husband, ex-husband, whatever, phoning him and going, there's a rat in the car. Anyway, and I saw droppings across the top. Do you know that 3 rats got randomly stuck in my car and died in my car? And I lost money on that car. That happened after the P. Diddy thing. That's somebody throwing. When you're under spiritual attack, they will often send animals at you. So I found that, and people said, oh, she's crazy. I'm like, no, I have pictures of it. Like it literally happened. The garage pulled it out. They couldn't find where the smell was. I kept taking it to the car wash saying, fix this smell. Guys, like, I think something's dead and you need to like put it up on a hoist. And then they couldn't find it. They had to take the thing off and it got caught under there. There was 3 of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a spiritual attack. I wanted to clear that up because I saw people online going, "Oh, she's crazy," and I'm like, "No, but that really happened." The day my son died, I was running and I got stung by wasps from head to toe. I knew something was coming from that on that day. That's an attack. Do you see what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like one wasp, yes, but a whole horde of them. Why? Why?
Damn, good point. Okay.
Yeah, like why on that day where I do that trail all the time, would that be a whole horde of wasps where I was just there the day before? So these are spirit, they will send it out. So these people, they send stuff out like that. They send out trolls online. I'm convinced trolls online do this. You get trolls too, right?
I get so many trolls. I've had crazy people. I've had stalkers. I've had people throw shit at me that I had to get taken off. And
oh,
I mean,
yeah.
One time, I mean, this one binding thing that these people I don't deal with anymore sent at me. It was so bad, Sloan. Like when I got done, the entire room was black from like what came off.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yes.
See? How do you handle the trolls in your comments? Because I need to learn from you.
Oh, I ignore them. I like, honestly, I'm like, a view is a view. I'm like, whatever. You don't know me. Like, you don't know me.
Yeah, that's true. I have a hard time with that because I'm feral. I want to hit you when you say shit.
But listen, these people would never say it to your face. Ever.
No, I dare them to. I'm like, you want my address? Come here and say that shit. I will fuck you up. Yeah.
They would never say it to your face. But just know, like, the troll is a good sign that you're grown, like you're
growing.
Yeah.
So I should thank them actually because they're increasing the value of my content, which means more money for me and more money for you. How about that? Spoken like a Taurus, right?
I'm always thinking of the money. Always.
Yeah. See, I don't. I think of getting even. I've got a problem. Kindergarten games for me, but I don't do it. I'm just curious because some of the stuff is offensive and it's a really interesting way of watching the world go that way. I can't imagine being 10 and online, like being traumatized as a child.
Yeah. See, I don't even think kids should have social media, to be honest. They should
not.
Because even as adults, we can't handle this shit hardly. Like,
no, I can't. I feel like I might hurt someone. Have you ever had to get a lawyer yet?
Yep.
Okay. There you go. So you had to do that. I had to do that too.
Yeah. Because some things, I had one person that, they stalked me for 2 years. It was just ridiculous.
Horrific.
But they started, it was like, oh, Storm's a baby murderer and he's and that was just like,
okay, no, fuck off. Yeah.
And I'm just like, people don't understand. Like when you tell lies, like a lady in my apartment complex killed her kid. And I got interviewed by the news, but then this guy, he took it and turned it around. And I was just like,
I get what you're saying. The lady, and they asked you if she was a nice woman or did you think of her, had you ever met her and all that shit that they ask.
Yeah, she lived right in the next building. It was insane, actually, but yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry for the baby.
Yeah. I was like, it was her boyfriend, and they live with their parents.
Right.
She just drowned the baby in the tub.
See, what is this?
Like, why? Like,
I don't know. I would give it to the neighbor and take off. If I had the urge to do that, here, take the baby. I'm crazy, and then I'd leave. Obviously she wasn't well.
Yeah, but I don't know whatever. I guess I could look up the case. I don't know what happened, but I know her parents, they moved out like they were going quick.
Yeah, they probably want to get away from her.
Yeah,
maybe that's why she lived with them, to try to keep people safe. Like the parents thought, if we're here, we can keep the grandkids safe. We'll pay whatever. I'm thinking it's something like that. And she went rogue anyway. Oh, poor baby.
Yeah.
Okay, good. You've been through all the shit. I've been through the shit. So
yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I'll be fine. Well,
tell the people where they can find you, Sloan.
They can find me probably at Starbucks. I'm kidding. Okay, I don't need stalkers. They can find me at sloanbella.com or at sloanbella on YouTube here.
And your books are closed for now, right?
Yes, they are closed. Not because people go, oh, you're booked out a whole year. I would never book out a whole year. That would be a commitment. So
Fair enough.
I'm booked. My last reading is at the end of this month, but I'm not sure when I'll open my books again because I have to wait till I can. I can't always be opening and not relax.
No, I get it. I totally understand. Whenever you open your books, I'm going to get a full astrology reading from you.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I announce it on YouTube when I do.
Okay. Yeah, because I actually know like the time of birth. I know all that. So I know
all of that. Yeah, you do because you're Virgo rising. Yeah. You would have to know your time of birth to get that.
See, people, I'm not lying. There you go. You heard it.
You would have to know that, or you'd just be making up shit and it would be randomly weird. But yeah, some people do that in astrology. They're like, I'm this rising. I'm like, no, you're not. I can tell. And but they like what the chart says like that.
Yes.
Like, why are you paying me for a lie? I don't get it. It's so weird. So weird. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Like, this was totally fun. Yeah, I learned a lot about astrology today, so I'm happy.
Yeah, astrology is my favorite, one of my favorite things. Cool.
Okay. So Taurus, Cancer, Virgo. Okay.
Now you know who you are. There you go. Awesome. Okay.
Take it easy, and
I will see you online. I will not
online.
Be you.
Take care now.
It's Storm Show. Ay, it's Storm Show.